Mahler, Symphony No. 8. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Gustav Mahler was writing grand romantic symphonies like they were going out of fashion. 9 complete and a 10th unfinished, like he was trying to better Beethoven. They all benefit from the influence of the great composers that came before, and having listened to all 9, I often heard pieces that made me think of the likes of Beethoven, Tchaikovsky and Wagner. The problem with Romantic era classical music is that to 21st century ears, attuned to the harsh harmonies and intonations of jazz and blues, it can all sound a bit lacking in bite. It does seem that even in attempting 10 symphonies he was never short of ideas, as no one theme seems to overstay its welcome. I first became aware of Mahler by watching the Ken Russell biopic, which was less over the top than his Liszt biopic Listomania with Roger Daltrey in the title role. But it did have a memorable sequence where Wagner's widow taunts him for converting from Judaism to Catholicism in order to get a prestigious conducting position, singing crude lyrics set to the tune of Ride of the Valkyries. I am someone who always tends towards being antsy, but when COVID struck, I struggled to find and set up my iPad on my bed, knowing I would be there for a while. With the taste of broken glass in my throat, fog in my head and a dog taking up an implausible amount of space, I played the If You Like This, Try That game on Prime Music and came across all 9 Mahler symphonies conducted by Leonard Bernstein. Old music for a newfangled virus. I was always going to do a Mahler, but probably that old favourite Symphony No. 2, but I thought I'd better check out if there was a better one. I started with the first and immersed myself in it while doing some research. I realised I wanted to hear No. 8 and could not wait. It was nicknamed the Symphony of 1000. It was calling to me. It starts with a massive organ stab and then the noisiest choral chord imaginable. The choirs keep coming, bringing a transcendental bliss to the coronavirus-addled brain. Maybe even transformational. Transubstantiational even. The first half ends with a variation on a melody similar to Andrew Lloyd Webber's Love Changes Everything. As it progresses it becomes more and more intense and spectacular. It is one of Mahler's catchiest motifs and one of the few allowed to develop over a decent period of time. I say that, but my grasp of time was a bit tenuous in the wake of fever and insomnia. Part 2 is somewhat more laid back, with smaller numbers of singers performing solo or as duets and small choirs, and is a bit light operatic, possibly a bit like the operas Puccini was writing at the time. Mahler regularly retreated to the Alps for inspiration, and knowing this probably influences what I hear in his music. It all sounds like scenes from a bucolic pastoral idyll, with babbling brooks and a marching band playing in a nearby village, the whole thing surrounded by craggy mountains cloaked in violent storm clouds. Mahler was famously a miserablist. One of his famous works is a song cycle called Songs on the Death of Children. When not writing scenery, he was writing the music of metaphysics, spirituality and death. My COVID adventure was well over, and I was out of isolation before I had listened to all 9 symphonies. And No. 2 probably is the best. Call me a Philistine, but I think my tip for listening to the albums of the Mahler symphonies would be just to listen to the final tracks. Like time spent in a backstreet massage parlour, you will find yourself encountering ups and downs. But however you get there, there will nearly always be a big climactic ending. We are all adults and we have nothing stopping us from going straight for the cake and not worrying about the sandwiches. Symphony No. 8. Gustav Mahler.